God never forgot how He created man with love. He created him capable of loving and caring for the world. He did not wish to see His beloved child suffer from evil. The centuries passed and people multiplied upon the earth. Along with the population, selfishness grew in their hearts. People became increasingly unjust and unhappy. They stubbornly insisted on an unnatural and irrational life. Sin had overtaken almost all of humanity, and there was no hope. God decided to put an end to this situation. He did not want hope for the human race to be completely lost. He entrusted this decision to a righteous man. Noah was the only faithful patriarch who remained on earth. God revealed to him His plan for the salvation of the righteous. God's love would give humanity a new opportunity. Noah had 3 grown sons when he heard God's instructions. Their names were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. God gave him detailed instructions for the construction of the ark. The families of Noah and his children would enter into it. The construction was so large that it took 100 years to complete. Thousands of neighbors and passers-by watched Noah's work with curiosity. Yet no one heeded his preaching about the coming flood. Noah warned them that God would send a flood for the first time. Only those creatures that entered the ark would be saved from death. People laughed and were indifferent to righteous Noah's warning. But Noah continued his work with patience and faith. We all owe the gift of life to his faith. His obedience to God's will saved humanity. The ark grew larger and larger as the years passed. A great miracle occurred when the construction of the ark was completed. All species of animals approached the enormous vessel in pairs. The wild and rebellious nature became tame by God's will. The animals obediently placed themselves where Noah led them inside the ark. Sufficient food for all had been gathered according to the Lord's instructions. Noah's faithful family entered last into the vessel of salvation. God, with His care, closed the vessel's only door. 40 days and 40 nights of fierce storm followed immediately after. All the fountains of the earth opened and flooded the world with water. Plains and mountains were completely covered by the rushing waters of the flood. People and animals drowned in the waves of divine justice. For 5 months the ark floated on a boundless sea. The passengers listened with terror to the sounds of destruction around them. God had promised salvation to His creatures inside the ark. He allowed the waters to recede gradually after 5 months. The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat when the waters began to subside. Noah initially sent a raven that never returned. The dove flew 3 times until it found dry land. The 3rd time it returned holding an olive branch in its beak. This was the sign of peace and new beginning for creation. A whole year had passed since the beginning of the flood. God gave the command to open the door of the ark. All came out and stepped with emotion onto the dry land. Noah with his family offered a sacrifice of thanksgiving to the Lord. The rainbow appeared in the sky as a sign of the divine promise. God promised that He would never again send a flood upon the earth. People would multiply and fill the whole earth again. After the flood, people began to multiply on the earth. All spoke the same language and could communicate easily. Proud craftsmen decided to build an enormous tower. They aspired to reach heaven with their building. They thirsted for power and glory through this dangerous undertaking. Every modern scientist would tell them that the plan was impossible. They risked being killed in this audacious attempt. But God also saw the danger that threatened their souls. Selfishness and vanity were growing dangerously within them. The Lord brought confusion among the arrogant builders of the tower. He divided human languages and created misunderstanding among them. People could no longer understand one another. They abandoned their work and scattered across the whole earth. This measure was a sign of God's love. He put an end to a work that would cause only danger and selfishness. Noah's ark saved life amid the waters of the flood. It prefigured our church, which saves people from sin. We all enter the church as different from each other as the animals in the ark. We are saved from the flood of selfishness through holy baptism. The wood of the ark symbolizes the cross of Christ. The water of the flood prefigures the water of holy baptism. In the church, we all become brothers, regardless of the language we speak. On the day of Pentecost, the apostles taught to all nations. The illumination of the Holy Spirit united all people. The opposite happened from what occurred at the Tower of Babel. Our church unites us despite our diversity. We speak the language of the Holy Spirit, which makes us brothers. Not many generations would pass before faith would flourish again. The humble Abraham would become the new bearer of hope.